Paul Jordan, TT 2025. It's been a difficult one so far, I think, especially the weather. How do you cope with days like today?
That's one way of putting it. This TT's been very, very difficult for, many things, not just for me, but for the team and spectators, marshals, everybody. It's a lot of waiting about. That's one thing for sure. We were ready to go this morning, and then unfortunately I went up to the grandstand to get ready to go out on my bike, which was 45 minutes. The first race signal went, and then unfortunately we were cursed with a rain shower came across at the west of the island, so we had to cancel this afternoon sessions. Now we have to reset again and hopefully go tonight.
Of course, this year I think quite a lot has changed with regards to your career. You've changed helmet brands, and I've heard the story that more or less you're now a full-time racer.
Yeah. This year's been a massive step in my career. Last year I was a full-time roofer. This year I am now a full-time professional motorbike rider, where, as a small child I've always dreamt of this moment, and now I'm pursuing my childhood dream. And yes, I've changed. I've been with RA Helmets for a long period of my career. My first ever helmet was Nolan, so I've now came back to Nolan, where I first started my whole racing career. So yeah, it's quite a journey, to be fair, where I've went with my career, and now I'm back on the path where I started. So yeah, I'm very, very grateful that I have the Nolan helmet with me this year. And to be honest, I can't fault the helmet. The helmet is absolutely incredible from start to finish. Just the service I've been getting from the boys and on the girls from the factory and whatnot it's been incredible.
I think that gave you also the opportunity to train in Thailand early in the year. Was that true?
Yeah, so we went to Thailand in January. We done Macau Grand Prix in November with the team, and then I went on a bit of a holiday after, because as everybody knows, it's a very long year, and I was in Thailand the week before Christmas, and then I arrived home, and my team boss Alan Jackson, he phoned me and he says, "Hey, you want to go to Thailand to train?" I was like, "Yeah, when are we going?" So that was the Tuesday.
Yeah.
He says, "Be here for Thursday." So me and his brother headed off to Thailand for 3 weeks. It was incredible. I had the pleasure of training with it was a EEST team, EESTN team, I think that's how you pronounce the team. And we went there, and Jorge Navarra was there.
Yeah.
And he was training us, which was unbelievable, absolutely incredible. The things he made me do on a 150 Grom, to me, were impossible before we even got there. So yeah, it was very, very good.
So you picked up some tricks from a GP rider, yeah.
Unbelievable, like just silly things like where my body position was on the bike and where I should be having my head and all. It was incredible.
Did he pick up some tricks for you as well?
I think he probably realised pretty fast that I was just not all the full shilling, that the lift didn't go to the top, when he realised that I did the Isle of Man TT. And
then, of course, a few weeks ago only, you took your first victory at the Northwest 200. That was something else, wasn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I got a bit lucky. I'm not going to sit and say that I had to fight really hard for the win, but I was in the right place at the right time, and unfortunately, to finish first, you have to finish. And yeah, I was the lucky person that I picked up that win, and it was massive for the team. The amount of effort they've put into me, my personal sponsors. Michael from Prosper Squared. They've been so supportive behind me, and without these guys behind me, this dream of mine does not become possible. So I'm very forever grateful.
Of course, here I think it's the second year in a row that you get to start with the #1 plate.
Yeah,
that must be something special, isn't it?
Yeah, last year I got offered the #1 plate. I sort of heard like little Chinese whispers that my name was in the mix for the #1, and then I got the phone call to say would I like to run it. And to be honest, it's more an honor than it is anything else, because at the end of the day, this is the biggest road race in the whole world. It's such an iconic road race. There's so many greats have raced here, and to even just start the race is just an honor. And like last year when we came here, yes, I did feel a bit of pressure going off one, because I'd never had that experience before. And but once I got to the start line and we had the build up, the nerves went away. I felt once they put me into the, as they call, no man's land.
Yeah.
Once I went in there, I felt more overwhelmed than I did anything else, because it was a privilege. As I say, in my whole career I never thought I'd ever be in this position where I am today, and to even race Isle of Man TT, to finish one, to be lucky enough that I've stood in the podium of it. This whole thing I feel really, really lucky. And as I say, as a young boy, I stood on the side of the road and watched road race and looked up to the likes of John McGuinness, Joey Dunlop, Richard Britton, Darren Lindsay, like all heroes of mine. And there's now kids that come up and look at me like I looked at them. And to me, that's a pinch me moment. Like, so I'm just living this roller coaster.
Yeah, I remember you on the podium with the black eyes. I think you had the
yeah.
day here with the headbutting a seagull.
Yeah.
Of course, we have had just 2 races. I think we've had.
Yeah.
Many to go. What are more or less your targets for the race? I don't know. I don't exactly know what your best lap time is so far this year, but what are your targets for the remaining races?
I just want to keep improving on everything I do. To me, if I start setting targets and set them too high, and then you leave here disappointed. But you know, we went to the Northwest in the exact same manner. You know, if we can just keep improving our lap times, and we're not hitting a wall. You know, regarding results, you know, I just want to do the best I can. And to be honest, if you're in this, like the Northwest was a prime example. If you're in the race at all, you know, the Lady Luck can be on your side. But I feel like I'm in a really good, strong position coming into the TT this year. We were unfortunate last night that we were in that super sport race, and you know, I'm not the strongest person off the blocks. Sector 1 would be my weakest point, and once I get past that, I know then the race comes to me. And last night, unfortunately, we were on the hunt straight away, so I'm a bit disappointed because I felt there was a bit more pace in me, and God knows where we could have ended up. You know, I'm sure we could have maybe been in the fight for the podium, but you know, I can only say that now. You know, we just have to do it all tomorrow.
And then after the TT, what does your agenda look like racing wise?
Yeah, it's quite busy, to be fair. We had a quick look at it actually not that long ago, and I come back to the Isle of Man now for the Southern 100, and then we go back to Ireland for the Armoy road races. Then I come back to the Isle of Man for the Classic TT, and then you've got Macau Grand Prix, and I think we've scheduled in a race in Thailand somewhere as well, and then British Championship. I think we're doing 3 or 4 rounds of that, and then Macau Grand Prix at the end of the year. Yeah. So yes, it's a busy year.